Can I just say how happy I am that the mangaka of My Hero Academia decided to write Shinzo as a character who is misunderstood, who people just assume will become a villain, someone who just will use their power for evil deeds because, most likely, someone with mind control more times than not goes to a villainous path, but instead of just going in that typical route of Deku beating him and that pushes him over the edge and becoming a villain, no, instead it's just he's a misunderstood guy all his life. Even those around him always just assumed, oh, you have this amazing ability, just don't use it on me, okay? Like a haha thing. But all his life, he had to deal with people say, or just kind of look at him like, it's kind of like that kid who kind of looks like a punk but is a perfectly nice guy, but they get misjudged just because of their appearance. And he definitely has a villainous appearance. That's just people judging a book by its cover, and even more so when they know his ability is to read or not to read minds, but to control minds, which I pretty much hit the nail on the head last week. It seemed like once Deku responded, he was able to have some sort of body control or mind control, and we get the full confirmation it's mind control, which is an insanely strong ability. And even some of the pro heroes in the crowd are saying, like, if only his physical strength or his physical capabilities were better, he would be an amazing hero because he could literally take down villains in a very easy way. So even though he does lose in this episode, he definitely sparks the interest of other heroes, and if he works on his physical abilities, if he can fight even half of what, like, Deku can, he could be a damn good hero. And I just love how they take it in a direction of not just saying, oh, here's the villainous looking hero, he's gonna turn evil, maybe he'll betray Deku. Instead, you get the backstory of like, wow, he's just a guy who's trying his hardest, he wants to be a pro hero, he has his own goals and his own dreams, and I really like that, because there's so many ways that they could have took this in a very typical way, but instead, they kind of gave you the don't judge a book by its cover. Sure, he's not the one you want to see win, you want to see Deku win, because Deku is the main character, but still, I appreciate that. But on the flip side, I absolutely love how Deku gets out of this situation. As he does get warned, he knows about his ability, just Deku being him, he hears one of his friends being insulted, he's gotta answer, charge in, and that's why he gets wrapped up into it. But he also gets told that if there was some sort of shock, some sort of like physical effect on you, it can snap you out of it. So without even realizing it, he uses his powers to explode 2 of his fingers to snap him out of it, so then he can just throw him outside the boundaries there. It's absolutely insane. But what's even more insane is to see that all the people who used to have One for All the ability that All Might gave to Deku, he saw these kind of silhouettes with the eyes of all the individual people who used to have it, but also including All Might himself, which it gets brought up very briefly after Deku leaves the room with the nurse as well as All Might himself. She says, you were in his vision as well, and he says that's for the best, implying, if I'm getting this right, implying that more or less Deku has almost inherited One for All completely. So I assume the fact that All Might was in that vision that All Might himself used to see back when he was younger, I think it implies the people who used to have the ability but don't anymore. But we know All Might still has his ability, but it seems like his time is getting shorter and shorter, and soon it will be up to Deku to carry on his legacy because he won't be able to use his power at all. That's how I interpreted it. But it was really nice to see that it was a subconscious thing that let him snap out of it, and it was up to him, and he just thought brilliantly. He exploded his 2 fingers, and he still had the strength to carry on. It was absolutely insane, and just the animation and the way they're editing it, it was so good, especially with that voice acting. It just really gave you that sense of emotion. But to see Todoroki, he's just an amazing character. Like, that's the easiest way to sum it up. You see how angry he got at his father because his father's like, just use your other hand, use the ability that I gave you. You are the perfect child. All of our other children don't have your abilities, probably implying that the other children either have part of the abilities, like either the ice or either the fire, but not to the full strength. But it seems that Todoroki has his father's full strength, as well as his mother's ice full strength as well, but he only wants to use his mother's abilities. He's a whole, like, just on a path of, I'm going to use my mother's abilities, not your sick and twisted power, and I completely understand why he's doing it, but to see how overboard he goes with his ice, and literally, the Colosseum is just filled with this giant ice shard, and then some of the other heroes start saying it's okay, so he doesn't beat himself up over it, but he's just so pissed off, and then he has to use his father's fire to melt the guy away. Absolutely insane. I love, like, that's how we wrap up the episode. Like, it was literally a one-shot kill pretty much, but it's so damn crazy to see how much his father is getting under his skin, and ultimately if he will use his other hand eventually if he does get pushed to the edge. As when Deku pushed him over the edge, he did use his other hand, but I'm curious if he'll be able to control his emotions, and if he does fail, if he'll fail because he doesn't use his other hand, or if he'll fail because he does try to use it. It's going to be really interesting to see some of the remainder fights because, you know, the main focus was the Deku fight, but it was nice seeing Todoroki as well. Like, I know we're going to get some montages. We're not going to have like half an episode for each of these fights. I'm sure it's going to be a couple of minutes for a couple of the smaller characters, but I'm still really excited to see how some of the other characters are going to overcome the other heroes, because a lot of these characters have some pretty cool abilities. Some are kind of basic and kind of lame, but at the core, they still are interesting in their own way, and I'm really excited to see what next week's episode brings. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Did you love the episode? Did you hate it? And what was your favorite moment and why? Because I have to say that final moment with Todoroki just icing the whole place up has to be mine, not just because it was epic and grand in scale, but because of how broken and just pissed off you see him as a character. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And before you leave, smack that like button to show your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.